Drop it!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Fletts Movies and Pop Culture 13. We discuss all movies. I'm your host, Kyle Curtis Flett. Today, we're going to discuss our top 10 scariest moments in horror. I'm not doing this alone. This is his very first time on the channel. This is our very first collab together. He's an awesome content creator. I love everything that he does. And then him and Kate do awesome stuff over there too. And I love his late night stuff as well, making his debut on the channel. And he's an awesome friend, Davey Deathray. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you for having me, Kyle Curtis. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for the kind words. It's great to, I love doing collaborations. I mean, I always talk about getting to know the content creators and getting to know the folks in the chat a little bit more too. And it's great to see, see Rosie in the chat and Cody Snyder's hanging out. I see, yeah, Ashton, Jean, Trisha, Zodiac. Woo! This should be a fun one, everyone.
This is going to definitely be a fun one. We got an amazing community here too. And
oh yeah, it's unbelievable just how supportive everyone is. Of like, the creators are supportive of each other. Everyone in the audience is like, they really share their viewership really well. And it's cool to just kind of get to know people on a different level. I mean, I love jumping in the chat with everyone on your vids or Dave McRae or Slaughter and Lamb or whatever, but it's really cool to get to, interact on this kind of level too.
For sure, 100% agree with you. Hello, Rosie. How you doing?
I loved you and Cody doing the final chapter commentary. I listened the whole time and got the movie going in my family room. That one was a really fun one. And great to see Cody jumping in. Love it.
For sure, yeah. And he doesn't do that often. And Cody's awesome, dude. And we were originally supposed to do this in April, but then we had to reschedule for reasons. But we were able to do it this past Tuesday, which was a lot of fun. Final chapter is one of my favorites of my main favorite of the franchise.
Yeah.
And it was a blast to go through it, and we just had a fun time. He was a great guest too.
So. Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Let's see who else is in the chat. It's going fast here.
It is, yeah. Ryan Swayze's hanging out. What's up, Ryan? Great to see you. Yeah, we're simulcasting this, so the main show is here on Flett's channel, and then folks can watch over on the Davey Deathray channel just in case they're missing it over here.
For sure, just to make sure everyone can see it, just span it out. So, there's been moments in movies where I generally got scared as opposed to being creeped out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Rosie. So he says, who's here for Jeepers Creepers while screaming in the dark? There's some creepy moments in that movie as well. That is a good scene, Rosie, from Carrie. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Rosie brings up a really good point, like the being scared versus just like a creepy moment or something like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where I kind of had to dig deep. Some of these come from my childhood, so they had a bigger effect on me then. Of course, the older you get, right? I feel like the tougher it is to be like legitimately scared. So going through like my memory bank of all the movies I've seen, the films that have given me like goosebumps and feelings of dread, like at the same time, those are the movies that kind of, climb to the forefront of my mind. For
sure. And there's movies that rely, not jump scares, but there's little movies that rely on as atmospheric tone that can just scare the heck out of you too, that way too. Especially when it's done, executed properly. So.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's like maybe one jump scare in here, maybe one. But to me, it's like reveals, like moments where you realize something about a character, and your main character, your protagonist, is in like a vulnerable moment. Like those are the moments that really, really creep me out. That's, similar to like Dave McRae. I'm in like one of the reasons why I gravitate towards him as a creator is I really, like you were saying, I like that mood, that atmosphere, that feeling of dread, slow burns. I'm okay with a slow burn as long as the payoff's worth it,
100%. It just depends how you want to tell your story and how you want to use the slow burn properly too. I think
Mhm.
it's especially there's scenes, especially the performances from the people can really freak you out too.
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
just the look on someone's face. One of these actually, one of the scares on my list here has to do primarily with just how the performer looks, you know.
For sure, I agree with you. And hey, Ashton, how you doing? Um, oh, you also got Gene in here. How you doing?
Gene. Love it. Love Gene Whitcomb.
Uh,
Nicholas McMath is in the chat. Nicholas, how many likes do we have? Nicholas
yeah,
McMath is your like counter. He will keep you on task, and you can hold everyone else accountable as well.
and definitely hit the like button, everyone.
Yeah.
Definitely, that helps to be able to get the more people.
We got to game the system somehow, Kyle Curtis. Like we have to trick YouTube. You got,
Yeah,
you know, we got to beat the system, and we need everyone in the chat to help us out, and everyone
yeah.
watching after the fact. Leave a comment.
Especially, I was away from my YouTube for a long time, and I need
Mhm.
and the algorithm in YouTube is very tricky. So we got to beat the system for sure.
Yeah,
So,
man, I'm really happy to see you back. That must have been, that was a couple months that you were out. So I was,
yeah,
I didn't really, I was watching your videos, but didn't really like know you too much going into that whole thing. But we had become, friends through socials. So following that and just, rooting for you the whole time. And man, it's awesome to see you back. And one of the
well,
things that we have to do here is lift each other up. So now that you're back, we're gonna help you get back on track and crush that algorithm.
100% agree with you. And well, I always seen you in Starlight. I always seen you in the live chats. That's where we mainly usually when we first started interacting. But I
Yeah,
think is once I came back, that's where you and me really started building our friendship.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
For sure. And now we're doing our first collab together. And I always
this is
loved what
great.
you've done. So hey,
I
Cody and Trisha, how you doing? Before we start, just making sure I say hi to everyone.
Yeah,
Oh
for
wait,
sure. Oh, you
hey,
got to. I noticed there's like a little bit of a theme in mind when I'm running through it. I'm like, oh wow, I never really thought about what scared me or what pushed those buttons. But now that I'm looking at the list, I'm like, oh, I've got like, it's an interesting little psychological profile.
for sure, 100%. Hey, Ryan. Oh, this chat's just moving. Nicholas, how you doing? Thank you for being here. And he said
Nicholas McMahon.
there are 4 likes right now. Awesome. Keep it going. Um, hey, T. Parker Evans, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Horror films don't scare me anymore. The last film that did was the original Insidious. Horror video games, especially Resident Evil, are still terrifying even when replaying. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, the video game puts you there a little bit more. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, T. Parker. It's like you reach a certain age where movies don't quite do it. But
But
every now and then they still get me. But same thing, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite, like quote unquote modern game. And yeah, that game has some freaky moments.
for sure, and I love that the fact they remade it now.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah.
The controls are much better because I know probably people
Oh,
had a problem with the controls back in the PS2 era.
it's a better game for sure. Yeah.
For sure, and that is my favorite too. But
Yeah.
I do love the fact what they did with Biohazard and Village. Do from first person
Oh,
perspective
yeah,
'cause
yeah.
that is a
Yeah.
creepy way to do it too.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
you're trying to go for the dark turns. It's dark in the environment to scare the
And
hell out of you.
especially if you're playing it with the with the Oculus thing on or whatever, the VR, that stuff, the VR. I don't know, it's funny, I never get motion sickness or sick on a roller coaster or plane or anything, but I played VR Doom once and I was about to puke within like 5 minutes. I have no idea, like I felt like such a wuss.
VR can really scare the heck out of you because you really feel like you're in part of it. But for me, I can't do VR because of my eyes, the way it is sensitive to the VR. But
Gotcha.
I did try it once. Oh my goodness, because you really feel like you're in the game, right? You're like,
Yeah, it's the next step. It's that next step, like from filmmaking, like playing a video game VR is about as close as you can get to being in the movie.
for sure. And horror has come a long way since it's the beginning of horror, and
Oh yeah.
and it's still going strong to this day in movies and video games. So
Yeah. Well, there's always like most things, there's like the ups and the downs, right? So it's like you're always going to get movies like Night Swim or Imaginary. That I mean, I haven't seen those, but the movies that people generally are, not impressed with, didn't do a good job. And then in the very same year, you can have movies like, Late Night with the Devil or Abigail or Long Legs. It's like there's always something there for us. And like this year, there's so much for horror fans.
For sure, even though we had our disappointed ones, but then there's the ones that we all love. So, and that's what
I'll take it all. I'll take it all, right? Because some people are gonna love Night Swim and Imaginary. So it's like, hey,
for sure.
Regardless of whether or not I like it, I think it's good for the genre to be active, right?
Yeah, I love it. Even though I don't like it, but then there will people that do like it as well. And Night Swim was a unique concept to try to use. I thought was maybe not, it wasn't executed well for everyone, but I do know there's people that liked it. But I just there's cool. It's cool that to see they're trying some concepts that people never done before, and that if it was executed or not, it's cool that they're still trying to keep horror alive in so many ways. Even though the films we don't like, so they're still doing good. So.
Well, something's got to take the place while Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street have nothing going on, right? So we need something to fill that void.
Especially with all our classes that we love from the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s. I'm glad we're still getting some original stories and horror. So for that void.
Rosie says Night Swim is a cinematic masterpiece with a bunch of laugh emojis. I heard it's kind of like Poltergeist or like Amityville Horror, but with a pool, right? It's like an entity that ends up infecting the father, kind of, he ends up sort of I heard like in the last act, it becomes like, it basically embodies or takes him over kind of thing.
100%. And it was played by Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I love Kurt Russell. Don't know much about his son, but love me some Kurt Russell.
For sure.
Cody, I haven't seen any of the Hatchet movies, but I keep on hearing that they're like, it's a modern movie, but like a throwback to the old, like it's almost like purposely a little cheesy,
Yeah, I definitely start off with the first one because the first one's really good.
That's where it's at.
Slasher film. But I do like the second one. The second one's my favorite out of the series. Oh, I do love them all. And I know Adams it does plan to do a Hatchet 5 and 6. It's just a matter of when he's going to do it. So.
Gotcha. Sometimes you need to take a break. It's like, I totally get it with creative people. It's like, you got to flex those muscles and you got to be true to yourself. So if you're a director, a writer, filmmaker, like if you need to take some time away, like so be it. We're like the Evil Dead is one of those series that like, it's crazy. We have like 5 Evil Dead films, but it's like 5 films since 1981. And now they're working on 2 at the same time. So it's like, you can always make up that ground.
And look what Ty West did. He did that trilogy in so small time. Period. It was just a few years.
2 films in 1 year. So it's 3 films in 3 years, but 2 of them came out in 2022. Like that's wild,
Yeah, and
that's what we need more of that.
For sure. And I had no expectations at all. I never knew anything about them. They just came out of nowhere. And then when I saw X, that surprised me. And then Pearl and then Maxine just came out now. So
yeah, I like Ty West a lot. His Innkeepers and The House of the Devil.
Oh,
those movies are some of the movies on my list here must have influenced those 2 movies because I get that slow burn haunted house vibe from those.
Same. Hey, Gory Tiger.
Yeah, what's happening, Gory? Great to see you.
Yeah, and I know we'll get to our subject here soon. I'm just welcome Davey in. Just let everyone just get in, and this is Davey's first time on the channel. We'll get some talking here first.
I'm so excited. I can hardly contain it.
Yeah. Same here.
Finally got Rosie in a chat. It's on your channel, but I'll take it. Because I've been like, when's Rosie going to hop on my channel?
Yep.
But I knew sometimes you got to earn it. I totally get that. I don't want anything given to me. I want to earn it all.
Yeah, earn it all. Yeah, 100%. I know Rosie was going to appear in here today. So, and we got my mod, and we got a lot of my moderators in the chat just to keep it so we won't get any trolls in here.
Dude, I'm so lucky. I don't even know how to make somebody a mod. Like, do you have to do it live? Can I do it later? I don't have any mods, and luckily, no, I haven't had any issues. I think one time somebody randomly found a stream, and I didn't really even understand what they were saying, so I just kicked them out because it was just like, madness.
Once we done the show, I'll teach you how you can
There it is.
Someone a moderator. Because eventually, I think you might not get them right now, but eventually some will come in.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm successful enough, it'll happen. That's what I always like attribute to that. Like, well, if I get some weirdos or something, that just means the channel's doing okay.
Yeah, and even they help the channel, and they don't realize it. So.
Oh yeah, I love the engagement. Like, give me your weird comments, whatever you got. Call me an asshole. I'll take all of it. Tell me I'm wrong. I love it.
And they say they didn't care. Well, you cared enough to come in here.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't like something, stay away from it. But you had to you take your time in here, just say all these things.
Yeah, I think the biggest measurement is like go check out their profile, and it's like somebody that doesn't even create videos that has like 2 subs, and you're like, dude, why would I listen to somebody like sometimes I think that, and I'm not saying that everyone that doesn't create videos feels this way, but I feel like the trolls, if you go over to a troll's like profile, you find out they don't even create anything, and it's like, so this person's probably just jealous that other people feel comfortable enough being themselves and putting themselves out there, and so they want to take you down because it makes them feel like they're not doing enough with their life. So
for sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just ignore them now. I don't let them bother me anymore.
Yeah,
so, and I just let my moderators handle that way if anyone ever comes in here. I haven't seen anyone come in here in a long time, but you never know. Just never know.
You never know.
Hey, Gina, how you doing?
My chunky Geordie. I always sing that little 311 for her.
That's awesome. Love it. And I love your background behind you, Davey.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's I'm a huge film nerd in general and like a big music guy as well, but like horror is the first genre I really fell in love with. So yeah, I feel like little production value. The Michael Myers there, I picked this up at a punk rock festival, and that's like a unique print that this artist put together. Like I haven't seen that anywhere else. It was just this little tent. Same with the Mystery Science Theater and then my 2 Dawn of the Deads. And I've got this really cool Jaws poster back there. Yeah. What can I say?
That is an awesome what the artist did with Myers. That's the new awesome poster picture.
And it's from Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I'm not a big fan of that movie, but I do think Michael looks great. Like I think that's even if there's a movie that I don't really like, there's always going to be things from it that I can enjoy and take from it. You know what I mean? It's like that's the great thing about assessing art is it's like, to me, it's not all or nothing. It's sort of like, hey, I don't like Rob Zombie's remake, but I like this, and this about it.
I liked what I know. I liked that he made the mask his own and made it the way he made it, especially for the first one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler Mane did great. Say what you want.
Oh yeah.
Say what you want about the film. I still think there's some stuff I do like in there that he did.
Yeah. He did the job. I think he's maybe a little big for my taste as far as Michael. I like when Michael's a little bit more of like a regular guy that seems to have superhuman strength, but it's not Tyler Mane's fault that he got hired to play Michael and he's 6'8". So I think he did a great job. He looks, just looking at him, it is frightening. Yeah.
For sure. Nash just says, we are horror fans, aren't we? Weirdos in a way.
That's what's up. We are weirdos in a way.
Dream Insomniacs in the house. How you doing, man?
What's happening? Great to see you.
Oh, that's awesome. You're sharing it on Instagram. Cool.
There it is.
All right. So let's get to our subject now. So what's the bottom of your list? What's your number 10, Dave? You want to kick us off?
Yeah, my number 10, and these were so tough to number. We were talking about this before we started the stream. Like very, very difficult to number these. And I have, so I know it says top 10 scariest moments in horror. I've got a couple that aren't necessarily from horror movies that freaked the hell out of me as a kid and still make me feel uncomfortable. So I guess I'll put those at the bottom of my list since they're technically not horror films. Um, this is one of the scariest things I ever saw as a little kid. Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure scared the bejesus out of me, people. I would hide behind my mom's like recliner seat whenever that would pop on. I did the same thing when I would watch V as a little kid. I've, freaked out by that, but like that crazy stop motion, the eyes bugging out and the tongue and everything just freaked the hell out of me. And honestly, like every time I watch that movie, it still makes me feel like a frightened little boy.
I agree with you, and that's an awesome pick. That can be that. I can understand where that would come from, the creepy, scary side.
And there's something about Tim Burton that even when he's making a comedy movie, he has a way to like kind of make you feel uneasy and like work in those horror elements into something as ridiculous as Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, there was some. He did add some horror elements into that movie, and it's supposed to be a funny comedy movie, but he put something that make you feel uneven. And I'm like, geez, just throw them in there without. You really have to notice them. It's really good. He geniusly just
kind of surprised. Well, it totally surprises you, right? It's like kind of like I had mentioned where it's the idea where our protagonist is vulnerable and somebody reveals something, and it's like that is a prime example. Like he's riding in the truck with her, he's got nowhere to go, finds out he's in driving around with a ghost who Zodiac Z says Large Madge, they call her in Boston.
Large Madge.
Large Madge Dorchester. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, I know.
The best I can do for my Boston accent. I grew up in Alaska. I'm not very good at doing whatever. Not very good at doing East Coast accents.
We can try.
I'm about as West Coast as it gets right there.
Can entertain the chat as much as we want here.
So what you got for your number 10?
So my number 10 is from 2013's, directed by Scott Derrickson, Sinister. It's the lawnmower scene. It's a really creepy ass scene. Just the way it's executed very, very well. He uses the atmosphere and tone to scare you with that scene, and it's just very well done. The whole movie is just creeps you out in so many ways, especially with the main antagonist, that demon that's going around. Even the ending scene's creepy. Yeah, even the ending scene's creepy.
Oh,
and
yeah, that movie is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, even when the kid comes out of the box is creepy, and there was a lot of scary moments, but the lawnmower scene really did for me in that movie. That scene,
those
what he uses it.
Those tapes are all really disturbing, and yes, I think Sinister. That's one of the best scary movies I've seen, like modern scary movies, in a really long time. There's scenes where Ethan Hawke's character is walking through the hallways and they just don't cut. And you realize that when talk about building mood and atmosphere, especially in a horror movie, not cutting also builds tension, because it's almost like you're holding your breath. Like we forget, because we see so many movies where they cut so often, and a cut is like a break, right? It's like a rhythmic break. And when you don't have that cut, it's like you move closer and closer to the edge of your seat. You're just something's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? And that is what Sinister does so damn well. Like Ethan Hawke is low key, a scream king, you know what I mean? With what he's been doing lately in the last 10, 15 years or so.
100%. And then him and Scott Derrickson did the Black Phone not that long ago. So
yeah.
And
he was in the first Purge movie, right?
The first Purge. Yeah. Way back in 2013, 2014, 2012.
Man, it's been that long.
Yeah, I was working at the theater then still when it was.
Where do the years go, Kyle Curtis? What's going on? Where do they go?
I know that the years are going fast. He thought just like yesterday when I watched all those films, and now we're in 2024. The years have went so fast.
It's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, it just that movie that's supposed to be a jump scare scene, but it executed it creeped me out in a different way. That scene, it's just very well done. The way he uses that thing to engage, especially if you're watching it in the dark. That scene is just very effective.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I saw that one in the theater and it freaked the hell out of me. Yeah.
What a score too that movie uses. Even the credit scene score. It's just creepy.
Very effective. Yeah. Like those death tapes are just very they all seem so real. I think like that's the way they pulled off all those tricks. It's kind of like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it feels like you're watching something that's like, oh, this seems like someone's home video. You know, it just seems so personal, like you're watching some sort of snuff tape or whatever.
For sure, especially the lighting they use for that movie is just very effective.
Yeah.
So that's my
see,
number
we got
10.
Nice. We've got Mud Nelson in the chat. What's happening, Gavin? Great to see ya.
Hello, Gavin. Thank you for being here. I know we got more people watching than that. Sometimes what it says here on streamer is not always accurate. It's
Well, yeah, I
more.
don't know if how many because it doesn't tell me how many, but I see like the little link icon on the people that must be watching it over from my channel. So you got a handful of people. I don't know if it counts those, but there are people that look like they might be watching it on the Davey Deathray.
For sure.
From that side of it. I see Trisha McMaster's in there. Trisha and Mud are both Patreons.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome Patreons over where we got them. Yeah. Trisha says, I will always hold Sinister high. Freaked me out the first time I saw it and didn't see the ending coming.
Oh, I know. And then at the end, when he comes at the end there, that demon type,
the little jump scare at the end.
Jump scare is like effective.
Yeah, the Bagul character it's a really cool design. Yeah, for sure.
It's unfortunate the second one kind of went off the rails.
I didn't even see the second one because I heard that it was a bit too, didn't have quite of like the mystery and the mood that the first one had.
I think it was just rushed out just because of the they didn't put much.
Well,
it was different filmmakers too. So
it's so difficult. I mean, how do you you know, for the people that haven't seen Sinister in the chat, like it has a twist ending where something is revealed that changes the way that you look back on the entire movie that you just watched, right? So it's almost like rewatching Sinister is great once you know what the ending is. So moving forward to a sequel, how do you really do it? Because you already kind of like, you already gave out the secret. So it's like now that you're doing a sequel to it, it's difficult to recapture that magic. You know, it would be like in Jaws 2 if they tried to not show the shark again. You'd be like, no, you have to just show the shark. We already know about the shark. Like, you know.
And I know Spielberg was originally going to direct it, but they didn't want to wait for him because he was directing Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So he was going to direct it, but they didn't want to wait for him. But
I still think better off.
Yeah, I still think Jaws 2 is a good sequel, though.
Jaws 2 is great. Jaws 2 is great. Yeah.
And to me, Sinister should have just stayed as original film. It didn't need a sequel. Because other you is just going to just ruin why that movie was so effective in the first place.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Just certain movies do. You don't need to make a franchise out of them all the time. Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah.
Some work as a franchise, but some don't. That's yeah, that's right. Don't forget to hit the like button on both streams.
That's what's up.
Either way,
my chunky Jordy knows what's up. Yeah, I do a double like Cody says. Like it over here. Go over to if you guys aren't subbed over to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate a little love, but no obligation.
No, we're not forcing you, but it's still nice to do that. So So what's your number 9?
So my number 9 is my last non-horror. This is one that still creeps me out. Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit scared the living shit out of me as a child. Christopher Lloyd is just such an energetic, like mesmerizing performer. He locks you in with those eyes. So for him to have the crazy eyes, but then for them to go like cartoon with them and that voice and just everything about that reveal in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, didn't see it coming, freaked the hell out of me. Him like taking the shoes and like dipping the shoes in the goop to it was traumatizing, right? I mean, it's like that's like seeing Old Yeller get killed. As far as you're seeing the animation version of that.
You feel sorry for that
stuck with me. Yeah. Oh my God. Exactly. Yeah. You feel like this is a sentient living being that's being like burned to death, melted to death. Yeah. Judge Doom.
And it's gnarly. It's gnarly for live action animated film, especially for Disney and Wonder Brothers at that time. And I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's great mix of live action with the animation.
It's amazing.
And
Yeah.
all that Toon was doing was just rubbing against his leg, and then he just gets angry and just takes it, grabs a glove, and just and then that noise the shoe makes, it's just like,
Yeah.
and I think
That should have been the dead giveaway to all of us kids watching the movie that something was up with him because he puts on the glove. But I guess like anyone could maybe get burned from the, the goop, or I can't remember exactly what they call it,
oh yeah,
but
because he was a Toon too. Yeah.
yeah. And he's always got the sunglasses. As soon as he takes the sunglasses off, he's got like almost like those ping pong eyes. And then they turn into the cartoon eyes. Yeah, I mean, he's bouncing around on the springs. I know it like seemingly gets a little silly, but that very first moment where he reveals himself, like, always freaked the hell out of me as a kid.
Oh, because you remember he gets flattened by that whatever that thing is called, and then he
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
blowing on that thing just this so
Yeah.
brings it back up, and then his things are coming off. He's like, and he turns around, looks at him
Mhm.
with those red eyes. You remember me, Eddie, when I killed
Yep.
your brother, just like
Oh,
you? And
yeah.
he screams. It's just like,
Yeah, the high pitched scream and everything. And I think his eyes are like spinning around like a peppermint wheel kind of thing. Like there's something going on with his eyes there. And yeah, I mean, man, Robert Zemeckis, what a visionary, a film visionary, right? I mean, not only going from combining all those Warner Brothers characters and those Disney characters was really cool, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, combining the animation and the live action
yeah.
was great. And then you see where he ended up taking it, doing movies like The Polar Express and Beowulf, and I think he did Monster House. Like he really kind of like went in a totally different direction than you would think by looking at movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Back to the Future.
That's right. He did Back to the Future, the three movies, and
Yeah.
I love those movies too. That's a great.
Oh my
trilogy.
God, those movies are so good. I noticed because I just rewatched them. They're on like YouTube for free or whatever. There's shots of the DeLorean in part 2, and it's animated just like the way that they animated things in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You can tell that it's a drawn like that's how they did the effect, which is something I just never noticed as a kid. But yeah, to stay on topic, Judge Doom, Christopher Lloyd. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. We could
freak the hell out of me.
Yeah, he was in casting Christopher Lloyd was perfect. There was no one else to play him.
Oh, he's such a great performer.
And even Bob Hoskins as Eddie Valiant. Rest in peace to him. He's great.
Yeah. Love me some Bob Hoskins.
And of course, Who Framed Roger. Who can't go with Roger Rabbit? He's hilarious.
Oh, that movie to me is one of the standout films of the 80s. I think it's not only is it a technical marvel, but I do think that as a story and as a detective story, it's a really engaging detective story that works for adults and for kids. You don't see a lot of those these days that aren't like a Disney or Pixar movie. Like this is a straight up, like I think it was Warner Brothers, and it was a film that was just pitched to both audiences, kind of like Back to the Future. Like you could watch it as a kid, you could love it as an adult. We're kind of missing that right now, it seems like.
And that's the only time you saw Disney and Warner Brothers work together. So you probably won't see it now, just the way things are going with most movies. Unfortunately, so many egos in the way right now. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. They can't even make a Jason movie. They have too many.
No,
egos
there's so many egos there. Why can't you guys just come to a compromise? It's that easy, but there's greed and egos in the way that just interfere with that. That's
just hire Vincent DeSantis and watch the money roll in.
For sure.
So what do you got for your number 9?
Oh yeah. Get it back on topic here. Well, it's all fun. It's all great.
That's all part of it, right? I mean, that's the cool thing about doing a live stream is like, everyone's here just to kind of hang out, right?
And just have fun. And then we're not always going to talk about the topic we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, and everyone in the chat, like, go ahead and feel free, like, do your, put your number 10, put your number 9. Like, let's see, maybe we have some overlap. That would be kind of cool just to see if you guys have, if we have any movie moments that, overlap.
Go ahead, throw any moments in here, and it doesn't matter how it scares you. It scares you. There's gonna be moments in here that I didn't think about that. So throw that in here, people. It's always good to hear from the audience as well. So, just in case there's something that I didn't think about. Oh, that is cool.
It's tough. I mean, I've been alive for 42 years and I've seen a lot of movies, so there's probably gonna be some that pop up in my head after the stream. Hey, what's happening, Eli?
Hey, Eli, how you doing? So my number 9, it's from another Scott Derrickson film, and it's from 2005. It's The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I think there's that scene, I think is in the barn with the priest, and he's trying to do the exorcism on her. It's just the powerhouse performances from Jennifer Carpenter that really creeped me out when she's possessed. It's just another atmospheric tone movie that freaked me out. That's that scene in the barn. I think it's the barn. Either way, it's when the priest is trying to do all the things with her. It's just her powerhouse performance that really creeped me and scared me out. And I'm like, wow, Exorcism Enemy Rose is that scene in there is just well done.
You know, that is a movie I have yet to see. I haven't seen Exorcism of Emily Rose. Guys, you'll find out there's a lot of movies I need to catch up on. I'm a big rewatcher of movies I already know. I need to watch more movies I've never seen and make that part of my wheelhouse as an audience member, because I've heard that one talked about quite a bit. That Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, it's just the performances that really like,
yeah,
darn. I'm like,
sometimes it's just a look on someone's face. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and you know, being scared is something that can't always be verbally articulated. Sometimes it's just like a feeling you get or a sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's being scared is an interesting thing. It's primal, right? It speaks to the animal part of our brain.
And it can mess with you psychologically too. It's not like, oh
yeah,
my God, just like, what did I just watch?
You can't necessarily control it. I think that's another thing about being scared, that like, you know, we kind of chase it, we kind of like it, and we also don't like it because it's something that you really can't control. So I guess in a world where we're always so stimulated by our phones and being able to watch things on computers and TVs, that when something actually hits you and resonates with you on like an animalistic level that you can't deny and you can't shut off.
Yeah.
I think that there's some value to that. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Big Rod says, hey, thank you for being here. Said the head popping out in the original Jaws is a great moment. Definitely. 100%.
Well, we might as well get into that now. There we go. I'll make that my number 8, Big Rod, because that's on my list. Ben Gardner's head popping out in the original Jaws is a moment that, as a kid, I mean, Jaws is my favorite film of all time. I probably watched it the first time when I was like 4 or 5 years old, you know, 86 or 87, something like that. And Ben Gardner's head popping out scared me for years. You know, one of those scares, like a jump scare where every time you watch it, you're like, I know this is coming up. Is it coming up now? Is it coming up now? And then when it actually pops and they do that musical sting, oh my God, I love that moment so much. Even though maybe, you know, I've watched the movie like hundreds of times, I'm sure. So it doesn't scare me, you know, anymore the way that it did, but definitely a moment that had an impact on me and certainly had an effect on, I mean, that whole movie kind of pushed me in a horror direction as far as being a young film fan. So yeah, there you go, Big Rod. Ben Gardner's head popping out.
Awesome. That's a great choice. And Vigo from Ghostbusters 2 scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, Vigo is great. I think Ghostbusters 2 gets poo-pooed on because it doesn't try to exactly like rehash the first movie. It seems like most people, when they talk bad about Ghostbusters 2, it's like the first one's more fun. And yeah,
I think
the first one's more fun.
I think the second one's underrated. It's not bad.
I think it's really good. I like that it doesn't try to do the same thing. I like that it kind of goes a different direction there. Yeah,
for sure. I agree with you. And Gene said the jail scene from Salem's Lot scared me, made me jump. That's a scary scene.
I haven't seen that one since I was a kid, the original Salem's Lot. I got to jump back in because we're kind of hitting that, you know, with Nosferatu coming out this Christmas. It's sort of like, all right, I need to go back and catch up on all the Dracula films, all the vampire films that either I haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time.
For sure. So my number 8, and I'm going to echo you with another Jaws scene. It's when you see the Jaws shark jump at Roy Snyder's character, and he just goes quiet with that expression. He just slowly walks into the boat, and he says, "We need a bigger boat. You're gonna need a bigger boat." That's
he like pulls back. He's got the cigarette hanging out. Yeah.
That
he's
was
like, He goes, slow ahead. Yeah, I could go slow ahead. Why don't you come down here and chum some of this shit? The shark jumps right out. Yeah.
Yeah, what effective way to use the shark. That was a scary scene. Well, creepy
Yeah.
scene. Because you see the shark for the first time, and just the way the shark looked at him, like,
Yeah. And I think that's the first time you really see like the head of the shark out of the water. You get a little bit of it, like when it takes down the scoutmaster
yeah,
earlier on in the film. You see it like, you know, a little bit of water covering it, but it's on its side, taking him down. That's the first time you really get like a good look at the shark. Yeah. You realize this shit is serious.
for sure. Where are we at? 7 now?
7. Yeah. Let's see here. So we got Ben Gardner's head. All right. Well, I'm going to kind of echo one of yours from earlier because I grabbed one from Sinister, but it's like all those tapes creep me out. But the one where the family is dragged into the pool, tied to the lawn chairs,
Oh, yeah.
that scared. I mean, seeing it in the theater, I'm freaking the hell out because not only do all of those scenes look real, like all of those scenes are legitimate, like big time scares.
Yeah.
But that one, I'm sitting there as a fan of film and a fan of like the filmmaking process. I'm like, how the hell did they do this? Like, this would have been so scary. Like, I know they had a safety mechanism for each one of those people they pulled under the water, but as an actor to say, oh yeah, go ahead and tie me up to this lawn chair and pull me into the water. You know, I mean, like the trust there and just feeling like there really was an element of danger. And you know, just they were so creative with each one of those 8mm, you know, kills that they have in there. That one though, I had never seen anything like that in a movie, man. I never seen anyone tied to a lawn chair and dragged into a pool. Like, and you'll see in the rest of my ranking here, I realized like I got a legit fear of drowning in the water. Like it's big time.
Well, especially if you're stuck to a chair and you can't even really do anything to get away. And
Totally helpless. Yep. Yep.
That would freak the heck out of me too.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
underwater, you can't really breathe, and you're trying not to breathe in the water, and
just the sense of dread, like slowly being dragged. Yeah, it just so sad. Yeah, scary shit
for sure. I got so my number 7 is the hospital from hell scene from Jacob's Ladder. That creeped me out, especially if I was a huge fan of the Silent Hill games. But that hospital from hell scene with Jacob's Ladder, especially the way they took a scene from Resident Evil and roll with it, where he just pops up like this. Like, remember how the zombie comes out of the bag if you play those games? The hospital from hell scene is a very effective scene in Jacob's Ladder. I thought I'd give that scene a really shout out.
I still need to see that one. That's Tim Robbins is in that one. Is that right?
Yes, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember the scene for sure.
And I think that movie came out when I was a kid. I feel like it came out in the like mid 90s or something like that. And it's just one that I missed. That for whatever reason I haven't checked out. So always good to hear about. Yeah, always good to hear about more movies that I gotta catch up on for sure. And Zodiac likes your Zodiac Z loves the Jacob's Ladder reference there.
Yeah, thank you, Zodiac. Thank you. And even Hello Signals that mentioned Phantasm. There's some really scary scenes in there, creepy scenes too.
Those movies are trippy. Yeah,
very trippy.
So what are we on? Are we on 6? Are we on 6? We've done 3. Okay.
I'm making sure. Yeah, we're on 6.
Okay. And so
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say too, from that scene, there's even the patients looking down from the ceiling too. It's crazy. So, and
yeah, I need to check that one out. I think Tim Robbins is a fantastic actor. So, and just haven't seen it just for whatever reason. Sometimes, like, I don't like. It's funny when people are like, "How come you haven't seen that?" And I'm like, "I don't have a reason. I just haven't." You know, I've no excuse at all.
Yeah,
but it's great. It's a good opportunity.
I'm with you. I watched a lot of movies, and there's movies just like I'm. It's not that I missed them; it's just that I'm trying to get to them. So.
Yeah. Hey, that's why we have each other to remind one another to check some of these out. So yeah, my number 6 here. Let's see. I'm gonna take a break from all the drowning stuff. This one is like pretty simple, but something that really just always it's stuck with me ever since I saw the film. And it's
Okay.
the remake of the American remake of The Ring. I think what was it? 2002,
Six.
2001 when that came out.
Wait,
The
2000.
the
Let me see.
maybe it was 2002, something like that.
Yeah,
There
2002. 2002. I think.
the shot of when they're watching the Ring tape and the
Yeah.
woman is like combing her hair in the mirror and then she turns back and like looks like right into your soul.
Yeah.
Like that whole Ring tape really freaked me out, but there's something again, that like really intense look from that performer there that just sort of like you feel like as you're watching the movie, you feel like you're actually watching a real Ring tape because the actress's performance sort of breaks that fourth wall and
Yeah.
sort of makes you feel like, oh shit, now I'm cursed now because I'm watching this cursed tape. And that look that she gives always freaked the hell out of me. That man, that first Ring movie for being a PG-13 film is one of the more effective, like non-R-rated horror movies I've seen because it really just gives you that, like that intangible, scary experience. It's tough to like put your finger on it, but there's just something so
Yeah.
unsettling and like otherworldly about the tape and the way everything feels. And that first Ring movie, I mean, I love the original Ringu. I think Ringu's great,
Yeah.
but something about that look that woman gives you when she looks back, like
Yeah.
she knows something that you don't, freaks me out.
Well, just the way. Well, and this is the same director that directed the first three Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Gore,
Gore Verbinski.
Verbinski, yeah, and
Yeah.
he did an awesome job. And just the way she looks too in the Ring, in the remake, the
Mhm.
way they make her look, that long hair and that face.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You'd be like, geez, they make her scary. Because Ringu, I've seen the original Ringu too. That's a creepy movie. But
Yeah.
what they did with this is definitely one of the better American remakes of something.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very well executed.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
Scary Movie
Freaks the
3
hell out
has
of me.
parodied it, but
Ah,
yeah,
of
but
course. They're gonna get around to it at some point, right?
yeah, and now there's gonna be a new one. So
Yeah. Well,
hopefully they
it also it kicked off all those Japanese remakes. So we got like the One Missed Call and the Grudge,
the
and it seemed
Grudge,
like there
yeah,
was all, even movies like Unfriended and all that kind of stuff. They play into that same idea of like you better like a chain letter, like you pass this on, and if you don't pass this on, you're gonna get killed.
for sure. 100%, I agree with you. Ashes says the Ring scared the heck of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, I was like 20 years old when that movie came out. Scared the hell out of me.
that's okay, Aaron, as long as you're here, because sometimes I know everyone can't get the notifications because YouTube's weird sometimes. But thank you for being here, though. Still awesome.
Hell yeah, Aaron.
Better than late than
Yeah.
never. So,
Oh yeah.
and where Norman has gone before, how you doing? Never seen Jacob Lab. I
Hey,
definitely recommend it to you.
what's happening? How you doing?
Big Ross says Steve's kill in the original Scream comes to mind. Well, yeah, well,
That's a good one. Yeah. I mean, I don't like to me, I don't know if it scared me, but it is a really great kill. I mean, like the gutting and everything. And even now, like being able to watch it on like a Blu-ray, it's easier to see a little bit more. I feel like, I grew up watching that on VHS. You don't really see too much of like what's going on with the guts. And then you don't realize, like, I didn't realize that it looks like his knees were shot or cut. Have you noticed that about Steve in the first Scream? If you
yeah,
look at his knees, it looks like they either shot his knees so he couldn't move or they sliced his tendons there so he couldn't run or something like that.
yeah, and what's so genius because he's dripping. He's dripping too, and not no one realizes that it actually was raining in that scene, and then real rain don't photograph on camera.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
if you look at him the next time, he's actually dripping, and so the rain actually makes the scene even crazier. It looks like he's actually
Yeah.
dripping, and even if the scene doesn't scare you or not, that's just a genius. Even if you don't like that's a genius opening
Oh,
in that
yeah.
movie.
No. Yeah.
She's
That
all
opening is great. And it's crazy to think about, like, so Steve probably had the scariest kill of them all. We just don't, or scariest like moments. We never see Ghostface interacting with Steve. But if you think
No,
about it, like before, like they must have jumped him right when he showed up there, and they, effed him up a bit. And that, like, so we never even see, that's just theater of the mind where we get to imagine like what happened to Steve before he was tied up to that chair. Cause it was worse than a lot of people got. In
yeah.
that
Where
movie.
did they attack him from? Where is he when they attacked him?
I'm guessing they just jumped out as soon as he showed up, right? Or they met him they grabbed him at his house before he left, but they knew he was going over there.
He probably was coming to watch the movie with her,
Yeah.
most likely, and then they jumped him. And what's good when he says, "I'd like to know who I'm looking at," and the look on her face when he realized what she said, and you're like, where are they watching him from? Her from? Because
I think Stu and what's his face Billy are there for that first kill. I think they're both operating in tandem there on that first one.
Because I think they both stab him at the same time. They both come running because there's no way it would just be one person.
Well, and when he says like, which door am I at? That's a trick question. Like they know they're gonna kill
one's here
Casey.
and one's here. So,
yeah. They know what. No matter what she says, they know the plan is to kill her.
And then using Rajal Jackson on the phone is just genius.
Oh my god, that voice is incredible.
Yeah. So Aaron says, I don't know if it's been mentioned by the vampire kids scraping out the window in the 1979 same lot forever burnt to my mind as one of the scariest moments. So that is a creepy moment.
We've gotten some Salem's Lot love here. Yeah.
TV shows do count. It could be any moments, really.
Yeah.
So there's some creepy moments in TV shows too.
Yeah. Like I watched, I grew up, V was like a mini series when I was a little kid.
Oh, V with like Robert Englund, right?
Yeah, Robert Englund's in there. I think it's one of his first roles. And yeah, that movie freaked the hell out of me. He actually plays one of the good aliens in that movie. He's a good guy. So they're all reptilian. They would like rip their skin off and be reptilian underneath. That always freaked the hell out of me. There's like a half human, half reptilian baby in V. It's pretty hardcore.
And sci-fi effects for that movie were pretty decent. For that movie TV show, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Fauci, how you doing, man?
What's happening, Matt? Great to see you, man.
Matt Fauci's going to be coming on my channel on Wednesday. We'll be discussing our top 10 horror films from the 2010s. So.
Hell yeah. And Matt and I we are doing a brand new show called Start Bench Cut. It'll be like a monthly, we'll do it once a month. And, Start Bench Cut is like kind of like, fuck, marry, kill. Excuse my language.
It's all good. No.
But we're covering like creature features and like summer slashers. So, you guys can let us know your own suggestions, what you want us to rank as Start Bench Cut. And then we're going to be doing that, amongst ourselves as well. So that should be really fun. I like doing a good Start Bench Cut. It's good. It's like, Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Which one would you start? Which one would you cut? Which one would you bench? It's fun.
Sounds good.
All right. Where are we at now? We're at number 5. Wait, did you give your 6? You haven't given your 6.
I don't think I did because we were just
You gotta give your 6.
I think I have to. I know. My number 6 is I think it's the Fly from the Fly. David Cronenberg's Fly is that vomit scene. That is a creepy scene too. Crazy.
Yeah.
Scene. It's a very effective scene from the Fly. And Fly, what David Cronenberg did with that movie and Jeff Goldblum's performance is amazing. And the makeup effects for that movie. It's just that the Fly vomit scene, if I remember that's what it's called, was very effective, and that creeped me out when I was a kid, and it's still effective to this day. So
yeah, he throws up on the guy's arm and then like on his leg, right? And it just eats through the. Oh god, it's brutal.
It's very brutal.
Those David Cronenberg movies, man, the body horror in those, and like The Fly really is a body horror movie. It's like. What's great is like back in the, we got The Thing remake in 82 and then David Cronenberg's Fly, it was 86 when that came out. Is that right?
Yeah. 86.
Both of those are just such great, like gritty remakes of horror classics that really like, man, when you think about doing a remake and how to do it right, they really they pushed everything. Like when you watch David Cronenberg's The Fly, there aren't even a lot of movies nowadays that would try to be that gross. Terrifier would, but that's like the only one that I could think of that would even try to reach that level of, grotesque nature. And it's not, the vomit scene, but he's pulling out his nails, like putting his nails and his like all that stuff in jars, like in the bathroom. It's just really disturbing shit in that movie.
And I wish movies would push the boundaries like that again. And
Yeah.
like, come on, you can still take risk and still do it
Well,
to this day like that.
and push it with practical effects, because I
Yeah,
think
push
that's
the
the
practical
big
effects.
thing is the practical effects in movies like The Fly and The Thing are, I mean, they just feel real because they are. If you capture it in camera, it's going to look better, you know?
For sure. And then just don't be scared to do certain things.
Yeah, it's going to be
And
more work and it might be more expensive, but it'll be better. You know, it'll make
yeah,
a better movie.
yeah. And then I just find some horror films are tame because they hold back on certain things, especially
Yeah.
like that. It's like that, like the Fletts scene from The Fly. So
Oh my God. Yeah. When was the last time you saw like someone's arm or leg being disintegrated by acid or vomit? Like it was either in The Fly or it was in one of the Alien movies. That's it, you know?
yeah, for sure. 100%. I just would love to see more scenes like that again.
Yeah.
Um, oh, Aaron says the scene when Leatherface kills the guy with the hammer and slams the door is pretty scary.
Oh man, Aaron, are you reading my mind?
I think you are.
Are you reading my mind, Aaron? I think you may have shown up late, but you're in my brain right
I think
now.
he's like being like Charles Xavier. He's using a thing get into Davey's mind here.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well say, I mean, I'll go with that. That's my number 5. I've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The First Kill. Yeah, you know, we had mentioned it later just with how the whole movie looks kind of real. There's something about that first kill. It's not over the top, it's not grandiose, which real life rarely is, right? So when Leatherface hits him, I can't remember the name of the character right now, but yeah, when that character gets hit by the hammer on the head, and there's like not only the realistic, like the sound design, like the thud, but the way he just drops like a sack of potatoes, the way there's really no blood, you know, because there may not be, like in real life there might be a little bit, but it's not like a head's gonna like blow up from a hammer hitting it. And then, yeah, pulling him in there, slamming the door. Like, I grew up in the generation where, like, people told me, like, I didn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre till I was 17. It was
Yeah.
1999. And everyone was like, oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so funny. It's so cheesy. And I think that they were talking about the second film because when I watched the first film, it scared the living shit out of me because it felt so damn real, kind of like those Sinister tapes.
Well, what's so genius what Toby Hooper and the whole cast and crew did with that movie? It just feels gritty and grimy and grindhouse. Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't be watching this, and you feel
Yeah.
dirty after watching this film, especially for the very first time.
Oh my
And,
God.
and
Yeah.
the score is iconic, and well,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just the way it's just the way the camera works when they're walk into the house, and then he's after he grabs a teeth, and then she goes
Yeah.
running towards the swing there, and then he walks in. You don't see anybody around, anybody in the house, and
Yeah.
just the way the environment looks, and then he hears some pig noise, and he trips, and then Leatherface just comes out of nowhere, and the way Leatherface
Yeah.
just hits him, and he's twitching, and
There,
then he just
there,
grabs him and slams the door.
yeah, and there's that really cool like push in while as Leatherface like raises up. There's a really cool claustrophobic feel. And then yeah, much like, you know, not that I'm encouraging people to go watch like, you know, crazy videos that have like real life violence, but I feel like, you know, real life, the way that we're used to seeing violence on movies and stuff that's like really grandiose, but the way things usually look in real life is relatively understated. And I feel like that's the key to Texas Chainsaw Massacre feeling so real and people thinking it was more violent and more bloody than it was. I mean, everyone in the chat's got to know this now. I'm not saying anything new, but there's hardly any blood or anything like that. Most of the blood is like dried and on the wall already in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
So much like the original Halloween, it's not a very bloody movie, you
no,
know, but
even
it feels so real.
100%. Even when you see him kill Franklin, you don't really see any blood there. It's
Mm-mm.
just how brutal it is. It's still brutal.
Yeah.
It just you don't
Yeah.
see any blood there really, because it's the way the camera shoots it from an angle. So
Yeah, because Franklin is obscuring the view, so you don't even see the chainsaw go in, and then even the girl that gets hung up on the hook, no blood,
it
you
just
know,
lets your
no
imagination
blood.
think what you see there, really.
Yeah,
So
theater of the mind, man. You can feel that hook going into your back. You know, it's effective filmmaking.
um,
What do we got going on in the chat here?
oh, Cody was saying it's gross when I was a kid, but now Gross Flies now is sad. One of the saddest movies ever. It is sad.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a true tragedy. It's like Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, it's like I feel bad for Brundlefly. You know, when he takes his little pincer and he grabs the shotgun and he like puts it up to his forehead, you know, like you feel like I'm getting goosebumps right now because like he didn't want to become a monster. He became a monster because of his tragic decisions. Yeah, it's really effective filmmaking
yeah, Aaron, you are
and
psychic
storytelling.
for sure. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
What's up next, Aaron? What am I going to say next? Tell me. Spoil it
Yeah,
for me.
I think you kind of psychicated me because I do have a movie from Texas Chainsaw, but it's not the same movie. Well, I'll tell
All
you that in
right.
a second. But today is Roman's birthday. He would have been 73. Yeah, I know. It's crazy that it's been 10 years since he passed in 2014.
Wow, that's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace. I mean, one of the most exciting, energetic performers I've ever seen, whether it was stand up,
And
a
he was always
serious
himself.
movie,
So
or a comedy. Yeah. He is, you know, what a amazing level of energy. Yeah. That's
especially
sad.
especially when he did those interviews, he just took over the whole interview at that point. And the interview just
Oh,
sat there and let him do his thing.
I love when when Letterman like got his new gig at CBS or whatever, and Robin Williams went on, and he spends the first like 10 minutes like walking around the stage, just like, oh, this is amazing over here, and yeah, he just completely takes over the show. It's unreal. I mean, it's crazy to think that he was dealing with like depression and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess like
Yeah,
he used his personality and his charm as a way to like kind of cover that up. But it's amazing that somebody that's that lovable and that energetic could be so sad. You know,
100%.
rest in peace. That's
That's
another reminder to just like tell people how you feel. Don't be scared to
because
talk about real shit. You know, of course, you want to find someone you trust because maybe putting the real shit out there on blast isn't the right way to do it. But also, another thing for me, I don't know about you, Kyle Curtis, just to take a break from the list, is creating content for me is so good for my mental health. So, whatever kind of creative thing you do, like you make pottery, you paint, you draw, you play music, you know, like to find something that's creative that can, you know, keep the baddies away.
for sure. And watching horror films and doing this for my passion in
Yeah.
filmmaking takes me life from a minute and just let me
Yeah.
be in a happy place at that point. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
for sure, especially life can be crazy sometimes. Especially
Yeah.
this year's been nuts. So
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm glad that we're doing this because this takes me away from reality at the moment. Just have fun with you guys, and we always respect everybody's opinion here.
Yeah.
We like it or dislike it. I love the fact we can all respect each other's opinions, and this is an amazing community because you can all disagree, but they still respect each other's opinions at least. Because
Yeah.
I'm never gonna jump on somebody and kick someone out um for having an opinion here. I'm just like, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Well, we
I'm just,
have like the idea that even if people don't agree on every single thing, it's like it's our commonalities that we should be paying attention to and not the little differences, right? Like,
it makes the
you
conversation
know,
more fun too. And just like my good
yeah,
friend Steven from Craven on the Scary does the same thing. He makes everyone feel welcome and respect everyone's opinions too. And
absolutely. Yeah, for
so
sure. There's enough division in the world already, right? Like that's just built in. So we might as well just come together on
and
something.
it's just like with Dave and Frank and Darren, you really feel welcome too, and we all
Oh
mix.
my, yeah.
So
Oh
Good
yeah.
Real Hunting is another good example too. So
They're great. Yeah. Man,
we can
their audience
end
interaction is top notch.
for sure, and their skits are hilarious.
Hmm.
And they're just amazing dudes. And then we got all, and we're all, and there's all the amazing content creators I can shout out too, because we
Hmm.
all talk the same thing, but we all bring our own unique take to the YouTube, our own passion, because we're all different,
Yeah.
and it's not like it's just the same. We all bring our own take to this YouTube
Hell
community.
yeah.
So um Zodiac saying Zelda from Pet Cemetery, that and the guy's son Timmy that they buried and came back, both scared the hell out of me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty freaky one, Zelda from Pet Cemetery.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. So my number 5 was
Hmm.
from a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but it's from the remake, and it was Camper's first kill because they're walking into the house too, and they see the guy in the wheelchair, and
Mhm.
just the way this movie is shot. Then Leatherface comes out of nowhere and grabs Camper, and that was the original Leatherface for that movie. But he got sick, so for the rest of the movie, it's a different guy. But that's the only time.
Oh,
But the first kill was the original Leatherface for that movie. So not everyone knows that.
interesting. I did
So
not know that.
yeah, Brett Ragner's the original Leatherface.
It-
But and then the other guy took over. But that is a creepy kill because he just comes out of nowhere and just
Yeah.
grabs them and kills them. So I thought I'd just give a shout out to the remake because I think it's one of the better remakes.
Oh my God. Yeah. That Texas Chainsaw 03 is incredible. That's a really tall order to remake the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Marcus Nispel does a great job directing. I can't remember the cinematographer's name, but it's the same guy that did the original. So they got to bring in the same guy to handle the camera. And I think that's one of the reasons why that remake works so well, because some of those shots are literally shots he's already set up, you know?
And there's just something about that setting in the Texas setting, and especially in that decade, is just very
Yeah.
creepy because there's actually people that are like that, you know, in real. So.
Oh yeah, and they definitely captured that same intensity, like the Marcus Nispel style. He does that in the Friday the 13th remake too, where everything just feels really visceral. Like it feels, you can feel the way the camera moves and the way they shoot the violence. Like it feels so real.
For sure, especially the opening, because they had to come up with their own opening, especially how good the opening of the original is. Come
Mhm.
with the old opening with picking up the hitchhiker and where she grabs the gun is like wow,
Oh
it's just amazing. And then
yeah,
the way the camera shoots when she blows her head off, and then just the way it
yeah.
pans
The
behind
camera
her.
like moves through the head. Yeah.
Yeah, what a genius shot.
Mhm.
It's like maybe, so yeah, maybe you should listen to her not go that way. She was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Um, Cody says, Andrew. They say that name. I don't want to butcher it.
Riernarski? I don't know. Yeah,
Bernarski.
yeah, Zangief from Street Fighter. Yeah. Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
he's
Chip and
Christopher
Batman.
Walken's son in Batman Returns. Yeah.
You know, no, I'm just
That guy's a beast of a guy. That guy is something
yeah,
else.
yeah. That was awesome, Cody. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, from Street Fighter and Batman Returns. Yeah,
Yep.
huge.
I knew it was I remember when he got hired for that role, I was like, who is this guy? Like I need to know. And I was like, oh my God, it's the guy from Batman Returns. Because at that point I don't even know if I'd seen a review of Street Fighter, but now I'm very well aware of how terrible that movie is. Although shout out to Raul Julia, because I think he kills it as M. Bison in that movie. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Nicholas was saying Cannibal Holocaust is one of those movies that always feels so real to me, like it really could movie. I seen that once, and I will never watch again. But I agree with you how real it is.
Yeah, I've seen it once, and it burns those images into your head. Yeah, that movie is very effective. I think that everyone should watch it once, because
Yeah,
it
at least
flips.
once.
Like you think it's going to be about one thing, and I think the movie is actually really smart in how it kind of flips your perspective by the end of the film. But it is graphic and unsettling. Yeah.
Especially when I found out they were doing behind the scenes. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Cody says, quick, change the channel. Oh, you guys are funny. Love it. I love it that we can all have fun in the chat. I just love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch. I started watching the Street Fighter movie the other day, Cody, because I saw it was on Netflix. So I was like, oh, screw it. I'll just put it on while I'm like editing a video. Totally didn't know that Miguel Nunez Jr. was in there. So when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, it's my guy. Like, I love Miguel Nunez Jr. in A New Beginning, Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and Return of the Living Dead. And he makes a little appearance there in that Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So where are we at now? Are we at,
four,
did you
I
do
think?
your
Yeah, my
five?
number was it
Five or
five?
four?
What was your number five?
Uh,
Was it five, people?
no, I think we did four. We did four, or we did five. We're
We
at
did five.
four.
Yeah, yeah, because five was over Texas Chainsaw stuff we did. So
Yeah.
it is number four. So what's your number?
Okay. So my number four is the flashback drowning scene in The Changeling
Ooh.
from 1980 with George C. Scott. That is probably my favorite haunted house movie. A great film of a spirit that's trapped in a home and needs somebody to help solve the crime to, find justice. And, George C. Scott plays this character who he's a musician. He's a pianist. He just lost his family, his wife and his daughter, and he moves into this giant house that is haunted by a spirit. There's so much in this film that's creepy. The red ball bouncing down the stairs always creeped the hell out of me. But like any good sort of haunting movie, and movies like later on, like The Sixth Sense and Stir of Echoes, had moments that are kind of like this from The Changeling, where our hero, our protagonist, is getting little flashes and glimpses of what happened to this spirit when it was alive. And it all culminates where George C. Scott is basically transformed to another place in time where he gets to see what happened to this poor child. And it is so damn creepy and upsetting. It's a great payoff for a movie that's a slow burn. Scares the hell out of me, and I love that movie to death. I'm putting you to sleep talking about The Changeling.
No, I'm just tired because of the day. No, you're not putting me to sleep. I do love The Changeling. And it's Nick Campbell's favorite horror film at this, which she mentioned at conventions. No, that is effective film because you don't really see anything. You just see they use the ball and the other things to creep you out in that movie. And George C. Scott's performance is amazing in that movie.
Yeah,
especially when the old lady goes up there. That is when she opens the door. That was a scary scene too.
Yeah, and like my Chunky Jordy's saying, Gina's saying the opening scene of The Changeling is heartbreaking. Yeah, it's a gut punch. The first time I watched it, I did not see it coming. Yeah, the movie just really blew me away because I just didn't know what to expect. I don't hear many people talking about The Changeling. So I saw it the first time like 5 or 6 years ago, and it just blew my mind. Like I fell in love immediately.
Awesome. Yeah, it's one of those movies I would like to see this community talk about more because Changeling is a really great, amazing ghost story film.
Well, I'll never shut up about it, so maybe I just need to do a review.
I won't either.
You said Neve Campbell said it's her favorite horror movie? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because every time they would ask her at a Scream panel, she said The Changeling.
That's amazing.
Horror films, yeah.
Hey, now if I meet her, now I have something to talk about her with.
Yeah, you can talk to her about The Changeling.
She'll be like, hey, I finally met one of these weirdos that likes The Changeling.
And she's awesome too. She
seems great. Yeah. I mean, I've always loved her as a performer. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's always been gorgeous. And I mean, just the quintessential final girl. I think like Wes Craven just struck gold having Heather Langenkamp and then having Neve Campbell. He found like the two most quintessential final girls.
I agree with you 100%. And then it's great to see Neve come back for 7.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm pumped for 7.
Yeah, so Gina says she was 6 when she watched this. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's really if a 6-year-old can make it through a slow burn horror movie, like that's a pretty scary movie for a 6-year-old. Yeah, for
sure. So my number 4 is, I think it's one of the best movies of the 2010s. It's from It Follows. It's when the tall man enters the scene. Have you ever seen It Follows? It's that.
I've never seen it. I know I'm gonna get so much shit in the chat.
No worries. I didn't see it.
I have heard it's so good and so like John Carpenter-esque, and it just has those long shots and the beautiful music, and I feel like I'm totally missing
the opening is genius. The opening is genius, but it's just I won't try to spoil this scene for you, but the scene this tall man enters, just the way the tall man enters the right behind everyone and just enters the scene. If anyone who watches knows what I'm talking about, he enters the way he enters the doorway behind everybody and enters this way he comes out of nowhere. Yeah, you aren't missing much, but but I still recommend you watch it. It's a really genius horror film. But the way
I've heard really good things. Yeah.
The way
See,
the way he enters the room really freaked me out. The way this tall man character enters the scene is very creepy. So
yeah, I noticed like there's something about that like uncanny valley, like you know, this like the monster at the end of Smile, like just the way that it moves and looks, like it looks humanoid, but you know, the proportions aren't right, you know, all that kind of stuff. Um, I love that Aaron says that my horror card has been revoked.
and I know what Zodiac
Yeah.
really means when he's saying that. I know exactly what he means when he's saying that. That is funny. But I definitely recommend you go watch it for sure. I know
All right.
he's funny when
Is
he's
it a
saying that.
joke? Is it a joke? He's not trying to say it's not
Oh
good.
no.
Is he?
Oh no. I know what he means by that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I gotta check it out. I gotta
It's a
check it
joke. It's
out.
funny. Yeah, for
I've
sure.
I've heard great things about it. And was Micah Monroe in that one?
Yeah, when she was younger. This is
Yeah, because
way
I
back
think
in 2014. Yeah.
I've only seen her in Long Legs, and I thought she was great. So I need to catch up on her. You know, the other films she's
Well,
been
there
in.
is a sequel coming called They Follow. So, and she's returning for that. So, and the same director. So,
Perfect. Now I know that she makes it through It Follows. No, I'm just joking. It's fine.
I didn't realize when I said that.
You're fine. You're fine. No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
you're right.
It's been 10 years that it came out 10 years ago. I should have seen it by now.
Yeah, and I got to interview the production designer for that.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Michael, he was great, and the opening's genius. Like, I'll just leave it at that. The opening.
Yeah, I got to check it out. I got to check it out for sure. Yeah. All right. So where are we at? We're at
Rosie's
number
back.
3.
How you doing, Rosie?
How you doing?
So you're number 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is another. Wait, here. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. My number 3 is. I had to pick one scene, right? But Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Have you seen that movie? Has anyone seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
It's an amazing movie.
Betty Davis in the entire film is so freakish with that like extreme makeup that she has on her face. She looks scary in every shot. There's a shot where she walks through the hallway, and as she comes into the light, it's one of the most frightening images I've ever seen. But what I picked in particular is the scene where she serves the bird to her sister. The sister has a parrot or some sort of parakeet or whatever it is, and she serves the bird with like a bunch of tomatoes around it on a plate. Just freaks the hell out of me the way that she sort of is like happy with herself as she's walking, you know, with the dish with the covered, you know, the dish has like the cover on it and everything like that. And I mean, everything about her in this movie scares me beyond belief, but that scene kind of pushes it over for me.
Awesome. I agree with you. I seen that scene, and What Happened to Baby Jane? I think it's their best performance of their careers, and that's saying a lot because they did amazing stuff, and that's definitely. But then to do a horror film like that was awesome.
Yeah,
so,
it's an interesting kind of horror.
Even the feud, yeah.
It kind of it plays into the whole thing, the real life feud, and then it is a movie that like at the beginning you see a really important scene, but you don't see anyone's like face, so you don't know like whose fault it was that this accident happened and all that stuff. And there's different twists and turns throughout the movie where you're trying to kind of figure out like what happened in these people's lives that made them the way they are. And by the end of the movie, it's all revealed, and it's just one of those, again, it's a slow burn. It's a different kind of horror movie. But I was just even looking at pictures today. I went on Google before we jumped on here, and I looked at pictures of her from that movie, and I was getting goosebumps and getting scared just looking at pictures of Betty Davis on Google. Like that's how effective it is. And a really cool reminder that sometimes black and white film is perfect for the movie that it's making. You know, there's just certain, like I think Night of the Living Dead, the very original Night of the Living Dead, I think is a better movie because it was black and white than if it were in color.
For sure, 100% agree with you. Especially, it's great to use black and white is great to use for certain films because it fit that film very, very well, and it was scary. Not all the time it fits, but it just depends. If it's for the right film, if you need it, then you need it. So even
like something like The Lighthouse, the Robert Eggers film, like
that was perfect.
You know, it's just something about like, even though that movie doesn't have, I mean, I guess I would call it a horror just because it makes me feel uncomfortable and unsettled, but it's not like your traditional kind of horror, you know?
No, and it fit well with black and white for his vision that he wanted for him. I think it was just with the weird and color. It wouldn't have the same effect that it did in
Yeah.
black and color.
Yeah,
So
it was the right choice. It especially made it look like it was taking place in that time, you know,
yeah,
back in the whenever it was 1800s.
for sure. So my scene for geez. So my number 3 is the Jesus wept scene in Hellraiser. That scene is creepy as heck. There's a lot of creepy scenes in the original Hellraiser. The effects is just
Yeah.
amazing. But the Jesus web scene in the Hellraiser and just the way the person looks is just phenomenal. And especially just the way that movie is shot in general is just grimy and the lust that it brings into it. But that scene, the effects when the Jesus web scene is just
You're talking about where his face is like kind of pulled off, the dad?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dad when he's talking. Oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah, because the chains is moved. The chains I think is pulling it from him.
Yeah.
It's a very well effective scene.
Oh yeah.
I was like, geez, that really creeped me out.
Yeah, that movie is I think to me it's a total standout, that first film out of that series.
Yeah.
Feels like an Edgar Allan Poe story. You know, it's got that, it's like a tale of morality, sort of like a really long like Tales from the Crypt episode or something like that, you know, but I mean the practical effects and just the nature of the film is so disturbing.
For sure, 100%.
And by that point, when the face, so that's like her dad's body, but isn't it Frank that's inside of the dad at that point? Right?
Yeah.
Because he
That's what's
takes the
genius
dad's
about it.
body.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's genius about it.
And he's just saying all that creepy stuff to Kirsty. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just like, well, and the facts is what makes it too. Just the way
Yeah.
it is too.
Yeah, it
So,
looks real. They really like, they kind of captured, to me, like Hellraiser and the original Evil Dead, you know, the way they handled those practical effects then. I really, you know, impressive to me.
for sure, it's just what Clive Barker did with the first one. No real Hellraiser come close to the first one. I do like it. I do like the second one, but the first one just has that grimy, slimy, gritty, lust feel to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah, the second film, I enjoyed it, but yeah, I like the tone, the more serious tone of the first movie. The second one gets a little more like fantastic, you know, a little bit of Ghostbusters mixed in with the Hellraiser.
For sure. That's awesome, Eli. That yeah, we got the same box set. Definitely.
Yeah, I was telling Kyle Curtis how jealous I am of that box set. I own all those movies. I'm a massive fan, but you know, I was like, well, if I buy the box set, I already have all this stuff. So then I'm just spending money on something I don't technically need. Having to make adult decisions, right? It's the worst.
For sure. Yeah. So what's your number 2?
Number two is going to be the drugging and drowning scene in What Lies Beneath.
Oh, okay.
Now,
yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer's character doesn't actually drown, but you know, Harrison Ford's character is trying to drown her. Hopefully you guys have seen What Lies Beneath. That's another Robert Zemeckis movie. And very Hitchcockian. Like to me, this feels like a mixture of like Rear Window, you know, with more sinister kind of elements. And the whole movie, you're kind of guessing like, is Harrison Ford's like, can you trust this guy or not? And there's the scene when she wakes up and the tub is running and she's been, you know, she's paralyzed because she's been shot up with some sort of drug. And just the feeling of dread, the feeling of like, I saw that movie in the theater. It already has, you know, it has other great intense moments. I think it's a really awesome, like psychological thriller kind of horror feel. But that scene there where she's like, she wakes up and she's totally aware of what he's trying to do to her and she can't do anything about it because she's paralyzed. So that freaks me out. And of course, the drowning element.
Yeah. I'd never want to be in a drowning situation ever. So
I'd prefer not to, thank you. No drownings
Nope.
for me.
I like to be in the water, but I don't want to be drowning under it. So
I feel good if the water's up to my waist. Like, I'm good. I'm not going any deeper. Thanks, but no thanks.
I understand. I agree with you 100%. So my number 2, and this is a very effective scene, is from Friday 13th Part 3, that dream sequence when Chris is in the boat and she sees Jason scratching against the window, and he's
He's all
hissing at her,
excited.
and he's
Yeah.
hissing at her, and he bursts through the door. That is a
Mm.
scary, creepy moment. And then when she looks, he's gone, and everything's back, like, whoa,
Yeah.
where did he go? And he realized this is a dream sequence, of course, but just the way he was scratching against the window,
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
hissing, and he bursts through that door.
He's got like blood going down his face, right? From the hatchet wound and all that.
And he's going like, yeah. And it's just amazing. Very effective scene in Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, and Richard Brooker, man, and rest in peace. What a body to play Jason. Like everyone I know Cody's gonna jump in the chat and talk about his traps, and that's fair. His traps are incredible, but just everything about him, when you close your eyes, as somebody that's familiar with those movies, you close your eyes and you think of Jason, like, yeah, Kane was in more movies, but to me, I see a Richard Brooker Jason when I close my eyes. Like, I see a beast, like a man that's almost a monster,
For sure. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, Davey's live again. We're streaming it from my channel on his channel, so it's been a blast today, for sure.
A double dose of Davey for Frank's media and reviews. What's happening, Frank?
On a Sunday day, so you get the double dose of Davey.
I want to get to that 1,000 before the end of August, so I'm really pushing for it, Frank. And I couldn't say no to Kyle Curtis when he asked me to do something. I'm like, dude, you got it. When do you want to do it? Let's do it.
And I'm pushing to 500. I'm only 10 subscribers away from 500.
Only 10. Let's make it happen right now. Yes, let's make it happen right now. At least by the end of today, Kyle, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to make sure everyone that I can get to subs to you. Let's get you to that 500. Let's see if we can get you over there now. Let's see what we got.
Yeah,
I'm let's see here.
I'm at
I see 492. Just 8 away, dude. You're just 8 away.
Oh, I'm only 8 away. If anyone who hasn't subscribed that's in the chat, go subscribe. It's Fletts Podcast 13, exactly how you read it there.
Especially if you guys are on my stream and you aren't subbed over here yet. Let's let's live what we speak about. Let's lift each other up. Let's get Kyle Curtis to 500 today.
Yeah, I'm only.
Cody says 492. Yeah, just 8 away, dude. You can taste it.
It's been a long.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I did, Kyle Curtis, is I would jump into streams and I'd do like a little super chat and be like, hey, would you shout my channel? I did one actually on New Year's Eve. I was at like 280 and I wanted to hit 300 by New Year's Eve. And I jumped in one of my favorite YouTubers streams and I just straight up asked for a shout out. And he's got like 500,000. He does sports stuff. He shouted me out on his channel and I got like 100, like right away. So, 493 says Cody.
493, yeah.
Ooh, I can taste it. Okay,
now
so
7 more.
So I did my number 2. I did the that near drowning paralyzation scene from What Lies Beneath by Robert Zemeckis. But what you got for your number 2?
That was my number 2. Remember I said Jason Part 3?
Oh, you did Jason Part 3. That was your number 2. All right.
Yeah. But that's
what
okay.
The heck? I can't keep track of anything.
I can't remember. I couldn't remember where we're at, but that's okay. No worries. We've been talking a lot and it's been a blast. So sometimes I forget.
Yeah, this has been great.
What we even said. So
my number 1. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we do our number 1s, let's do some honorable mentions before we do our number 1s.
Cool. I will go for it. You do honorable.
I think I know this is obvious, but I'm just going to say the head spin from The Exorcist. Even if it creeps you scary or not, but at the time when you see a head spin like that, totally around in the makeup, it's perfection. I've never seen a head spin like that to that point. Even if it creeps you or scares you. Oh, 496. Let's go.
You are so close. Let's do it during this stream, you guys. Let's get it going. Come on. That would be awesome. That would
be awesome to hit 500 by time this stream is.
That would be incredible.
What's
Yeah,
one of
and
your...
when she's stabbing herself in the crotch with the cross and saying "F me,
Oh,
Jesus,"
yeah.
I mean, that movie brings it. For 1970, what was it, 73 when that came out? 72, 73?
Yeah, 73.
That
Yeah.
movie really brings it. Do you have any other honorable mentions?
Of course, I think the Tina sequence from Nightmare on Elm Street is very creepy and scary
Oh,
too.
that's a good one.
The whole Tina sequence is just
Yeah.
right to her death is just creepy as
Yeah,
hell.
that
Where
one's
she's like,
really,
"Hey,
really
Tina,"
good.
cuts off his
Yep.
hands.
Yep.
That
And
is a
yeah,
very...
the very intense, like creative death at that time to do like the spinning room kind of thing.
Yeah. And even from...
Yeah.
and there's some moments from Black Christmas too. I think it's just geniusly done.
That's interesting because that might be somewhere on my list.
Oh,
And by
oh,
somewhere, I mean that might be my number one, something from Black Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, as far as honorable mentions, one thing I wrote here was the Horned King and like the raising of like the dead from the Black Cauldron, that old Disney animation film. If you guys haven't seen the Black
Black
Cauldron, it's like
Cauldron. Oh,
it is awesome high fantasy. I think that story is so cool. Like I want to see like I want to see a trilogy of live action films that capture the Black Cauldron, but the Horned King always scared me as a kid. I love that movie, but always freaked the hell out of me. I actually played the old school video game like on our original family computer in the 80s. And then another honorable mention real quick is just the scene where in The Witch where they're like crushing the baby head with like the stone and grinding like the brains. That is just very unsettling to me.
and I think it's unsettling. I think it's unsettling too in Rosemary's Baby because you're having that that build to what the baby is, and her theories come through, and you want to see the baby. That's a perfection scene too, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's for sure.
I mean, I could rattle off probably a few more, but yeah, those just what sticks out to me now. Grabbing some from
there's more I can
childhood
say,
yeah.
but we'll just leave it at that. So
yeah,
for sure. So what's your number one?
My number one is the first kill in Black Christmas when Billy kills Claire, and it's that whole scene where it's one of those like little do they know kind of scenes where somebody's already in the room and the person's going about their regular, like that's one of the most scary things to think about is you come home, you go into your bedroom, you're just being yourself. You have no idea that somebody that wants to harm you is hiding somewhere in your room, right? And then to have her walk up to the closet because I think she sees something like moving. She thinks it's the cat or whatever. And then there's that line where she says, "What is that?" And he grabs her puts the bag over her head and suffocates her. And then, God, you've just got this reminder the whole I mean, they don't even find Claire. By the end of the movie, Claire's still up there. Like it's just this constant reminder of, to me, like the most frightening moment in the film. And one of the moments that like gets me every time. I guess from this list, you guys know that I'm afraid of drowning and I'm afraid of people revealing their ill intents in a very scary fashion.
That's why I love the fact that Dave and Bruce were able to perfect that in It's Me, Billy with homage to Claire's kill. And then when you find I think it's Emma that has the bag over her head in the car, and
oh my God,
props to the actress, props to I can't think of her name right now, but props to her for she had to not breathe and stay still with the bag over her head. It's just and I'm excited for It's Me, Billy 2 in October.
Oh my God, yeah, It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 is going to be great. And I love that even though like the 06 remake, I know a lot of people don't have like the warmest feelings about it, or maybe they didn't until the 2019 Black Christmas came out, because I don't even call that a remake. But in the 06 one, I do love that they brought the bag back. Like that to me is so scary. And I think it's one of the things that film did really well is made Billy feel personal, which to me, I guess that's the element about this particular kill, is it just feels really personal, that invasion of space, invasion of privacy. And then suffocation is just one of the most like intense personal ways to end someone's, to me, it's just all so creepy. Like Billy is low key like the greatest slasher of all time, because that's the way like real people do those things in real life. So to me, it really captures that essence and that fear of real life.
I agree with you 100%. That is definitely a perfective scene. That's still one of the greatest camera shots and kills ever. So 100%. My number one is the scene from Exorcist 3. Is the scissors scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so effective in so many ways. The nurse just hears something, she keeps walking back and forth, and you just follow her with your eyes, and it just keeps you engaged in the scene. And then she goes into that room. But the minute she comes out of that room, you see a white figure with scissors follow her, and it creeps you the heck out. It freaks
and
you
it's
the
like
heck out.
they've got the scissors like kind of high, like neck level, like yeah.
And the camera just pans right in, so you really feel like you're part of that scene and just follow it. And then you see the aftermath after the fact. You don't know what he does to her, and you see the after effect. It's just geniusy.
Yeah,
it's one of the best, not just the best jump scares. I think it's just a perfection scene in general. It's just phenomenal.
Well, because doesn't the camera is at the end of the hallway?
Yeah,
and it's a static shot for a really long time, and you watch her walk away from the camera. She interacts with the security officer, right? She interacts with him. He walks away. You're sitting there so far away, and then you get that zoom right when the
thing comes
person
behind
comes in.
Like,
yeah, so it is something straight out of. It is like a nightmare kind of scene. It feels like straight out of, well, at least straight out of my nightmares. I don't know about everyone else's nightmares, but yeah, man, Exorcist 3 is a phenomenal sequel, and that is certainly one of the more effective moments. That's a great number one
for sure. We're still at 496. Just need 4 more to sub, people. 4 more.
And I know earlier Trisha had mentioned, she was like, this better be in there. I think it was Trisha. You better have Exorcist 3 in there.
And then I was just trying to hold my smile, because I knew it was my number one. So I was like, I was just trying to hold it so I wouldn't let her know that was on my list for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but, where are you at now? 496. Okay, still there. All right.
Just 4 more people. Let's make this happen.
I'm going to stay on the stream until he gets to 500.
Yeah, share it around. Share the channel around. I'm not that far away.
Well, I'll give you a little bump on on my channel. I'll make a little community post. We'll see if you can get you over that hump there. And I can even share it over on Insta and Twitter, although Twitter is like no one cares about anything that I tweet. I'm not inflammatory enough on Twitter for anyone to care.
I only share my views on there after that, but otherwise, I don't go on there all that often otherwise.
Yeah, on Twitter, it's a bunch of people like really upset about like Scream and stuff like that, which I don't really get too worked up.
I hear you, Aaron. I'm sad that the scene doesn't get me like it used to. It's a great scene, but after repeat viewings, it loses some of its shock. I agree, especially if you've seen it many times. I understand it will lose its meaning, but definitely for sure.
It's like the Ben Gardner moment in Jaws, I think, is kind of like that too, where it's like, it's still a great effective scene, but of course you'll get desensitized. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But it's still part of the greatest moments in horror history. So
I can't argue with that at all.
So that was our number one. We went through a list. I know there's a lot of other ones we can definitely talk about for sure, but we should talk about some really good ones today.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool. I'll do rankings and stuff on my channel, but I haven't really gotten to too many lists. So it's interesting. Like I did a top 10 zombie horror movies with Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards, and that was really cool. But this is like the second, just top 10 like category kind of thing I've done. And had a great time. 497.
Yay. 3 more. Come on.
Let's do it, people. Let's do it.
That's ended on 500 because I gotta go off soon. But let's make sure we get to 500 before we go off.
Yeah, I've been streaming the whole friggin' day. I started at what 10 in the morning. I did a stream, and here I am. It's almost 4 p.m. Woo! And I got to go to editing after this because I'm finishing up a pre-recorded video for the channel. So it never stops, right? Frank knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle Curtis. It never stops.
Yeah, it just I know I was supposed to do a stream yesterday, but my guest had to reschedule. So we're doing that Halloween, Friday 13, Nightmare on Elm Street, one huge slasher 33 ranking on Friday instead. So
nice.
It's just the way I had to schedule my guests is the reason why I kept streaming almost every day at this moment.
Yeah.
It's just because that's the only way my guest was able to come on. So that's why.
Yeah.
Hey, it did that way.
It's good to be active and consistent and all that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I kind of want to do that ranking at some point as well, like ranking all three.
For sure.
Hey, what's happening, Carbonite?
Hey, Carbonite, how you doing? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, if you are not subbed over to Fletts Movies and Pop Culture 13 yet, Carbonite, we're trying to get him to 500. He's just 3 away, so I'm not sure if you have yet. But let's see if we can get him to 500 while on the stream. That would be awesome. It'd be way too cool.
Because that never has happened to me before. It's always happened off. Never happened.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It would be cool to get it going live for sure. What should we do? Should we do something crazy? If we get Kyle Curtis to 500 on the stream, what do you guys want? What do you want us to do?
Yeah, what do you want us to do if we get to 500?
Sing a song together?
Whatever you guys want to do, I don't know, do it.
Rip off my shirt. No, I'm just joking. No one wants to see that.
No, we'll just traumatize them.
It will be their top 10 scariest moment in horror. Would be me ripping. They'd be like, that's going to replace The Exorcist 3 and Black Christmas.
That Davey Deathray traumatized me. It's my scariest moment in horror I've seen on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, it's all fun.
Can't sub again, says my chunky Jordy. You guys are great though.
I know you can't sub again. That's fine. Hey, Antonius.
We're so close. We're so close. Antonius, what's happening, man? Great to see you.
We're just trying to get me to 500 before we end the stream here, hopefully.
Yeah. So, Kyle Curtis, if you had to do start bench cut, and we do start bench cut Halloween, Friday the 13th.
We're at 98. Two more.
There we go. Hell yeah.
What were you going to say?
More. Sorry. Start bench cut Halloween, Friday the 13th, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. The whole franchise, not just the first movies, but if you had to pick one to start, one to bench, one to cut, what would you do?
Well, one from each for 3?
No, just like each franchise. Like, so the Halloween franchise against the Friday the 13th franchise against the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Oh, the one you had to start. And what do you mean by bench?
Like bench is like, so it's like first, second, and third, basically. Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, that is tough. Man. Because I love all 3 for so many different reasons. I would start Halloween because I love Halloween franchise. I got that history with that franchise.
Me too. Yeah.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street as well. The last 2 is so tough for me.
It is tough. That's the fun part about start bench cut is you make them tough, and then it's like, I don't know. To me, I think it's kind of fun for me, I guess. Zodiac says start A Nightmare on Elm Street, bench Halloween, cut Friday the 13th. Oh, you hurt my soul. That's all right.
Oh, man.
And Nicholas says there's 17 likes. Okay, that's great. We're still 2 subs away. Aaron says, Davey, you have to sing/play guitar live punk rock style if we hit 500. Okay. All right. I could sing a song for you guys if we hit 500.
For sure. I'll have to get back to you on that part.
Okay. Yeah. No worries, man. No worries.
But that's a good question, though. Oh,
yeah. Now, are you going to see, just to keep the conversation going while we wait for a couple subs to come in? Of course, we don't have to hang out. We don't actually have to hang out until we hit 500.
No, I don't have to, but I'm just hoping it would be. I don't have to.
It would be super cool.
It
Yeah.
would be cool if you did in the live stream. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. And then, are you planning on checking out like Alien Romulus in the theater and
I do
Deadpool Wolverine here?
I do. When I get the chance, I do plan to check out both for sure.
But you saw Long Legs. I saw you did a review of that one.
Yeah, I saw Long Legs. Yeah,
Long Legs was fun.
I really enjoyed Long Legs for what it was. I know not everyone's gonna like it, but I do like the performances, and I love the fact that it relies on its atmospheric tone that it goes.
Oh yeah,
and I did, too bad we didn't see more of him, if you know what I mean. But it was perfected, done for what he did, for what he was able to do with that character in the makeup.
Yeah,
he did very well with it. And
yeah, I think they like want to keep.
It.
Yeah, they definitely want to keep some of that mystery. But I think the cool thing about that is it'll be fun to rewatch it. Too. Oh yeah, the marketing was great. Yeah,
and the direction that it takes, especially towards the ending, is just wow.
Yeah. There are certainly some moments that kind of catch you off guard in that movie, where
especially
I'm like,
when a certain character
that just happened.
Especially when a certain character does to another certain character outside, if you know what I'm saying. It was shocking.
Yeah. No, it was that. Yeah, that movie to me kind of had everything,
Oh, Antonio says close. That Antonio watched Beekeeper 20 last night with Jason Statham. Have you seen it before? I have. I really enjoy Beekeeper. It was a blast. It's one of my new favorite movies of his. So
looks like a fun action movie for sure. Yeah,
it's a fun Jason Statham action film. So
Cody Snyder, you see that chat there?
Cody, I do need to come on and striptease for 2 more subs.
Yeah,
you might.
It would probably work, Cody.
It probably would work. I'm already teasing.
Pretty good. Yeah, definitely have a better body than me. I don't know about Kyle Curtis. I don't know if you're hiding some muscles there.
Well, I do have muscle, and I'm gaining my weight back, so I'm in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Cody's jacked. I met him last year at Halloween 45 at age 45, and just seeing him, streaming the other day on your channel, I was like, man, Cody looks different, because it has been like 9 months, 10 months or something like that. I mean, I think he was working out then, but it's just like, wow, you can tell that the work the guy puts into it, you can see.
Yeah. Cody, I'm not saying I will, Rosie, but calm down. Well, I know you probably would. Don't lie to me. Because Cody, you never know what he will do in this streaming.
You never know. You never know.
Never know.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that. When he was telling the Malik Akkad story, that was great. That was
that was amazing.
Fun to relive there. Because when you're in that moment, you're sort of like, am I living the moment or am I watching the moment? So it's great to hear it from someone else's perspective. But yeah, Malik was hilarious. I was wearing this shirt. I have on this shirt that had like Leatherface, Michael, Freddie, and Jason on it. And when I met Malik, like maybe 10 minutes before he came over, when I was hanging out with Cody and all those guys, I bumped into him and I was like, Malik, it's great, great to meet you. And he's like, oh, you're wearing the Enemy. And I was like, yeah, but Michael's on my shirt too. He's always my favorite.
Yeah.
He was great. And he just walking around like a total rock star the whole time. I also thought like Rowan Campbell was really sweet. I got to meet him. Rian Reese was really, really sweet and gracious as well. My wife and I both got autographs from her that we took home.
Yeah, what Rowan was able to do, Rowan's performance as Corey was awesome. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even if you don't like the movie,
yeah,
I think it's difficult to say that the performance, like I think the performances are still good there. I think Andy Manichak put in her best performance of the trilogy as Allison. And yeah, I mean, Rowan Campbell is I'll watch whatever that guy's in from now on. I'll give it a shot because he definitely pulls me in. Cody. Yeah, you just have 2 more subs to go. How do we get that going?
Yeah, 2 more subs.
Yeah, Leatherface is the fourth. I mean, I would even say like technically, if you're making the Mount Rushmore, like maybe even like Ghostface slides in as the number 4. Ahead of Chucky and ahead of Leatherface.
Yeah.
I'm with the Texas Chainsaw movies. I don't know about you, Kyle Curtis, but I'm sort of like I love the original and I really love the remake. And the other ones, I'm just sort of like, I like part 2. It wasn't really my taste, like the
Yeah,
jokey style, but I don't know.
yeah, I do like Chop Top, but I do agree about that film. To me, it's original in the remake. I'm
Yeah.
hit and miss with the other ones. Um, it's just some of them just I I wish I wish 2 still had the same tone as the first one because you had Jim Seedale in it. I just didn't
Mhm.
like the Leatherface that they were doing in that movie.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like a requel kind of, it's almost like a reboot. Texas
Oh,
Chainsaw Massacre 2.
yeah,
Uh,
I need the subs, Antonius. I need the subs. So share the channel.
2 away
But
from 500, Antonis. 2 away from 500.
5 from 500,
So
yeah.
close. So
But
close.
for 500, yes. I
I
get
mean,
because
I'll take all the subs you got, but let's get Kyle
but
Curtis
yeah,
2 more
also help
subs.
Davey too. But yeah, just help me to get to 500 for sure. I think the beginning is not that bad either for prequel
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't think
to
I've
the
seen that
remake.
one.
I recommend you watch the beginning because it's a prequel to the remake,
Okay.
and it still has Ari Ermi as the
Oh, nice.
so-called
He's
sheriff.
great.
So
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
we know how it shows how he ends up as the sheriff in that movie. So
Oh, cool.
I won't spoil how it's done, but
Yeah, I should
how
just watch him just to watch him because, like, I don't even think I've seen part 3. I have seen The Next Generation.
oh yeah,
And
I
then
seen 3. Um,
how's 3? Is 3 good?
3 has some really good moments. It's not great or anything,
Hmm.
but there's some really good performances in there and some decent kills, and there's some really decent moments in there.
You got Viggo Mortensen's there,
Viggo Mortensen's
right?
in there, yeah. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Not
Yeah.
great anything, but it's a fun one. So
And I thought the newer, like the one that came out in 2022 or whatever, 2023, like that was okay. The Netflix one, it's
I,
like fine, but it's like 88 minutes long. It's really short. To me, it's just sort of like, is this even a full movie?
and why would you
Oh,
try to make
Ken,
Ken Forey's in it in 3 too?
yeah, there you go. I actually have his
He has a cool scene
signature.
in there too.
I have his signature on this poster. I met him at age 45. He was really sweet.
And he has a cool scene in there too. So
Okay.
that because he's one of the main characters. So and I know Kane Hodder did the stunts on the film, and he did do some scenes as a Leatherface in that movie.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
he's Leatherface in the trailer where the chainsaw comes out of the lake like Excalibur,
yeah.
and I think that's Kane as Leatherface just in that trailer.
Yeah. And Next Generation, I will say this. I don't know why they call it Texas Chainsaw Massacre because there's not really a kill with the chainsaw in there. But
Oh yeah.
I will say this though that Matthew McConaughey does a creepy, amazing performance in that one.
Oh, I mean, he gives it his all. He
Gives us
really
all,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if the film's not great or anything, it's just he still gives amazing performance in that. That was still early in his career before he went to have the career where he's at. We're at 499. Look at that. One more.
Oh my gosh. One more, people. One
One more.
more.
One
Let's
more. Just
let's
share it
make
and
it
then
happen.
make it happen. Because I have to go off in a few minutes, but that's awesome. Um, so we'll just keep it. We're almost at the 2 minute mark. We're almost there, but we'll keep it a little bit longer.
All
But
right.
that's awesome. So, um, what I will ask you a question, David, just to
Yeah.
know you a little bit more. What's some of your underrated horror films that you think are so underrated that nobody talks about?
Underrated that no one talks. Well, I think The Changeling is definitely one of those movies. It's not that no one talks about it, but it's I think maybe a movie
More
that
under
just a
the
lot of
radar, more.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they just haven't seen it. I really enjoy The Prowler, which was directed by Joseph Zito, who made that excellent movie called Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter.
Tom
Did you guys
Savini's
watch?
effects again too.
Tom Savini's effects as well in that movie. I really enjoy The Prowler. I think there are moments in The Prowler that move pretty slow. But I really do like the atmosphere and the mood, and it's an early slasher. I think that one and like My Bloody Valentine, it would have been cool to see a sequel, even if it didn't turn into a whole series. It would have been cool to see a sequel from both of those movies. Other horror movies that I think are underrated. I really love Peeping Tom. I think it's like late 60s. That's like
Tom,
one of the
original.
Yeah, like the original kind of slasher, like POV sort of thing. And the rare case of a slasher villain that you actually like, I felt sorry for the character. So I think that that's like a pretty cool approach. I would say those three stand out to me.
Yeah.
Trying to think of if there's anything else or something I've seen like more recently that impressed me that's under the radar. I can't really,
Zodiac said Pumpkinhead is underrated. It is underrated.
Pumpkinhead's really good. Yeah, I really enjoy that one for sure. A good old Lance Henriksen. I mean, shit. Cody Snyder's in the chat and he hasn't brought up Lance Henriksen, so somebody was bound to, right? Trying to think if there's another like 80s slasher that I really like that doesn't get much love. I think the first Slumber Party Massacre is really fun. And I think most people are aware of that one, but I think that one's a pretty good like horror movie that I don't hear a lot of people really talking about it, but I know people know that it exists. Dead Alive.
Oh yeah.
I think Dead Alive is like one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen in my life. If I remember correctly from my stream with Barry, I think I put it as like number 2 on my list of all time, right next to Day of the Dead, which I think is kind of another underappreciated film. I think Day of the Dead is the best George Romero zombie film. Speaking of George Romero, Martin by George Romero came out in like 79 I think it's right after Dawn of the Dead. Mark Amplas stars in it, and it's a really cool take on a vampire story that's not like any other vampire story you've ever seen. It's I adore Romero. I would say he's my favorite director if I had to pick one director. I love those Dead movies, and I like the stuff he did outside of that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Romero did some really good movies besides his zombie films that I really enjoy for sure.
A lot of the collaborations with Stephen King were really fun too, like Creep Show and
I love Creep Show.
He did Monkey Shines. I think he did The Dark Half, which is based on a Stephen King book, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be coming out like
I would say either
right
by early August.
Yeah.
Maybe the latest early September, but it should be here anytime now.
Yeah, well, the movie comes out on October 11th, and then when the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 trailer, I think Dave's dropping that mid-August. So I would say mid-August at the latest.
Yeah, then mid-August.
Terrifier 3.
It should be around there too to promote the movie.
I'm really like, I just recently watched the first 2 Terrifier movies, and I really didn't like the first one. I loved the second one. I felt like the second one just had all the stuff that I'm looking for is in the second one. So I think the third one could be the very best out of the 3.
100%. Are you excited for Nosferatu? I am excited for a new version of Nosferatu. I think Robert Eggers is a good director. I love him ever since I seen The Witch and The Lighthouse, and I think he would do very well with it. And I love the marketing that really keeping Bill's look of Nosferatu under wraps, so you don't really see much.
Yeah.
I really like keeping more in the shadows. So I'm excited to see where they do with this.
Yeah. And I don't want to see another trailer. Like I'm
ready. I don't
either. I'd rather just see Bill as Nosferatu in the film and, just let that be a surprise. I think I'm coming around to that kind of way of thinking.
For sure. Yeah.
But I love like the kind of black and white feel, like the dull tones that they use to sort of make it black and white. It really kind of puts you in that time. And I think like we were saying earlier, like some pieces of art visual art just look better in black and white. So something like Nosferatu, you can use the shading and the contrast to build that mood. And Aaron, thank you for correcting me. Yeah, so Martin was before Dawn of the Dead. I think it must have been the Crazies that I was mixing it up with, because I think the Crazies he did right after Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, I love Martin. The editing in Martin, it's amazing. Like, if you guys haven't seen Martin, gotta check it out.
I agree. I agree. And Aaron says was before Dawn of the Dead 77, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah, he was like, not to be that guy. No, you're cool. You can be that guy, because
yeah,
I'm
you're
that
cool,
guy.
Aaron. Yeah, you're
I'm
cool,
definitely
Aaron, no
that
worries.
guy. Actually, it was like, that's me. That's how I am in most every conversation.
I know,
so it's actually, it's
people
refreshing to be wrong and be corrected.
I know people do that with Dave too. Okay.
The little sounds that he does.
Dave.
Just go crunch one out.
Yeah, I know. I love it that when he does that.
Good old Dave imitation. The mood and atmosphere. Yeah. Love Dave.
Dave's awesome. Yeah.
Crazies was 73. No. Really? I don't know. Really?
It's like, do what?
Oh shit. It is.
Yeah,
wow. Why did I think it was 78?
Same year as The Exorcist, I believe.
Crazy, right? That movie's really good. Very unsettling. I like the remake too. The remake is like kind of its own thing, but I think they're both. Yeah, I think they're both good.
Yeah.
I like that he sort of like stokes that like, mistrust of the government kind of vibe in the Crazies. I mean, there's that element is in the Dead movies, but I think in the Crazies, it's like really hyper focused. Like, you can't trust the system. You can't trust the government. You can't trust this big machine to actually keep you safe or tell you the truth. Yeah. Romero was punk rock, man.
For sure.
Punk rock. Oh, now you're at 498. What happened, everyone? Was there a bot that signed up?
Yeah, what the hell?
Who unsubbed, y'all?
Yeah, who unsubbed?
Was it because I got the release date for the Crazies and Martin incorrect? Because this isn't my channel. It's Kyle Curtis's channel. So don't make, my mistakes. Don't punish him for my mistakes.
Yeah, I was at 499. Who unsubbed here? Like, what the heck? And YouTube, don't be removing subs either.
That happens though on YouTube. You find like, oh, you gain like 5 or 6, and the next day you've lost a couple. And I think it's sometimes because bots. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Nicholas says, have either of you guys seen Land of the Dead? Oh yeah, love Land of the Dead.
And two, what YouTube will also remove people that not really inactive in their comments. They'll do that as well.
Really?
Yeah, they'll do that. If you're not inactive on people's comments on their channels, they'll actually remove you eventually. That's
brutal. Cause I've never noticed that I've ever been unsubbed from someone's channel, but maybe
they'll do that too.
Maybe it's just the activity. Like, I'm always bugging people.
Yeah, they'll do that too. So
that sucks.
I found that out from other content creators. They'll do that. They'll remove.
Oh, we're back up to 499. All right. Whew. So close.
Maybe YouTube just had to make sure they were okay before maybe. So. But we're back at 499.
We're so close, guys. Come on, my butt's falling asleep. Find somebody to sub to Kyle.
Yeah, so we can get him to 500.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Whenever you want, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I know we didn't make it to 500 in the stream, but we made it to 499 at least, folks. That is awesome.
We're so close.
Yeah. I would love to stay longer, but I have to go off for dinner and stuff. I have to go off. So hopefully by the end of this evening, I'll be able to announce that I made it to 500. So
I am going to share it on my socials. We're going to get you there, bud. And then whenever you get that, I want to see you share that once you get past that 500 mark. That'd be awesome.
For sure. So everyone in the chat, go share it right now. Go share it everywhere you want. Share it. And Aaron clicked that is 499. It's kind of a punk rock number.
Yeah.
So share it around. And hopefully by the end of this evening, Zodiac says 500. What the hell? Yeah.
Yes. We did it. You did it, Kyle Curtis.
500.
Yes.
500.
500. That is awesome, man. Congratulations. That feels
The journey I've been throughout the 3 years, I never thought I would make it. I made it to 500, but I made it throughout the stream. I love
that
you
is
guys.
awesome, man.
You know, I love every one of you. It's been a long journey, and I appreciate the content creators that helped me on the long way. Like Dave McRae has helped me. My good friends from Starland, Darren Frank has helped me. And
Those
any
guys are
other
great.
content creators, and that's why I always get back to the small content creators too, because I do this. I pay it forward just the same way people has helped me, and
Yeah.
um,
Hell
I
yeah, man.
I got there, and I've been through a long journey these last 3 years, and now I finally got to 500. So that's awesome that we ended it with 500 subscribers. So
It's a good feeling, yeah, and especially just the last few months and everything, that even what you've been through in that time, it's got to be cool to come back, get those collabs going, and then see the results here on that sub count. Congratulations, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
for sure. Thank you everyone for saying congrats. I love you guys. So we'll end it on a good note, because I actually got to
Yeah.
go. So I want to thank you, Davey, for coming on. We'll say goodbyes off screen, but I want to thank you for coming on. We'll definitely do a collab again in the future for sure.
Hell yeah.
And if you ever want to bring me on your channel, for sure, I'll definitely love to come on for late night when we're just for sure. That'll be a blast. And you're a phenomenal content creator. I love everything that you do on your channel, and you had a good stream today. And when you and Kate are together, you do awesome stuff too. And
thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you everyone in the chat for coming on. This was a blast discussing top 10. And I will just say this quickly. I will be back Tuesday with a video. Wednesday, Matt Fox is coming on for top 10 horror movies from 2010s. And the guys from Twisted Locker will be coming on. We're still figuring out a day and time.
Nice.
The fellow guys from UK, they are awesome. They're coming on. So once I now know the subject we'll be doing and the time and day, I'll announce it very, very soon. But the Friday, I'm bringing on Michael Wolf from Mega Movies, and we'll be ranking all Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday 3 in one huge slasher ranking. So that's gonna be a blast. Nice. Another thing, I've never done that before. So, and before we go off, Davey, anything you want to promote before we go off quick?
Yeah, I'm doing so. Matt Facci is going to be on my channel. It's going to simultaneously stream on his as well. But tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we are doing our very first episode of Start Bench Cut. It's where you rank 3 things that are kind of in the same realm. So we're going to throw a couple at each other. And if you guys jump in the chat, you can give us your own things to start bench cut. Like 3 movies within a franchise, or even if it's like 3 candy bars, whatever the heck it is, we'll do it there on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Every Wednesday I go live for Late Night with the Davey. That's like a late night talk show kind of setup where I bring a guest on. This time we're getting Daniel from the Cobwebs channel is coming on this week. Actually, I see Tales from the Shelf. Mark from Tales from the Shelf just jumped in the chat. He was the guest last week. We had a blast. I felt like I found a brother from another mother, and we talked for like 2.5 hours. Always great to get to know other content creators and get you guys to get to know them as well. So yeah, Start Bench Cut with Facci tomorrow, Late Night with the Davey on Friday. And then I'll be back on Saturday night with another movie date with Davey and Kate. We're going to watch the original Jaws and do a watch along. Oh, awesome. And tomorrow I have my Rad 9 movies from 1994. That's a pre-recorded vid that I'm dropping tomorrow. I'm finishing that one up today.
Awesome. Sounds good. And hey, Tales of the Shelf, we're just about to go up, but thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. You definitely check out the replay for sure. If you guys have, I mean, you missed it or coming in late, go check the replay for sure. Thank goodness for replay. You can see if you missed it. For sure. It's great.
And come back and comment. Like, even if you're watching live, come back into the replay, drop a comment, because YouTube kind of kills the lives after their lives. But if you come back and you give them that engagement, it helps it live on.
And I forgot to mention, I'll be interviewing the director of When Evil Lurks next month. So,
Damien Rugna.
Yeah.
That movie was phenomenal. Man, I missed putting moments. How did I miss that? See, a blind spot on this list I definitely would have included. There are a couple moments in there, man. That movie
Oh
is
yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah, for sure. So with that being said, thanks for all watching. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Davey. This was a blast. We reached 500 subscribers and during the stream. That's awesome. With
Hell
that being
yeah.
said, for watching, hope you have an amazing rest of your Sunday and a great week coming up. We'll see you, everyone. Bye.
Take care, y'all.